On May 1, 2001, Chandra Levy's laptop was used for searches including Rock Creek Park and Condit before she vanished. What happened during her final hours in Washington, D.C.? Chandra Ann Levy was born on April 14, 1977, in Cleveland, Ohio. Her family later moved to Modesto, California, where she attended Grace M. Davis High School. As a young woman, she pursued her education and eventually earned a degree in journalism. She worked in the office of Los Angeles Mayor Richard Riordan before beginning a master's program in public administration at the University of Southern California. In October 2000, Levy began an internship with the Federal Bureau of Prisons in Washington, D.C. Her academic eligibility expired in December 2000, though this was only discovered later. Although her internship was abruptly terminated in April 2001 due to this expiration, she had already completed her master's degree requirements and was scheduled to return to California in May 2001 for graduation. Chandra Levy was last seen on May 1, 2001. At the time of her disappearance, she was just 24 years old, a young woman with big dreams who would soon vanish without a trace. In October 2000, Chandra Levy began her internship at the Federal Bureau of Prisons headquarters in Washington, D.C. She was assigned to the Public Affairs Division and worked under Bureau spokesperson Dan Dunn. Her role involved handling media inquiries and supporting communications related to prison operations. During her time there, she gained experience in public relations and government work. Levy's internship provided her with a direct connection to federal institutions and exposed her to high-profile cases and events. She was tasked with managing information about the Bureau's activities and ensuring transparency in its operations. Her supervisor noted her dedication and ability to handle sensitive communications, particularly during a period of heightened public interest. This position marked a significant step in her career, as she prepared for future opportunities in law enforcement or public service. Her time at the Bureau was cut short in April 2001 when her academic eligibility expired, prompting her return to California. In December 2000, Chandra Levy's academic eligibility quietly expired due to a miscommunication with her university. By April 2001, this oversight had real consequences. Her internship was abruptly terminated as a result. The timing of this termination raised questions, especially given the circumstances surrounding her disappearance just months later. While the details of her academic situation were not widely known at the time, it became a point of interest in the years that followed. This administrative issue, though seemingly minor, played a role in the broader timeline of events leading up to her vanishing. It marked one of the final steps before she disappeared on May 1, 2001, a day that would change the course of her life and leave behind an unsolved mystery. The discovery of Chandra Levy's skeletal remains in Rock Creek Park in May 2002 shifted the focus of the investigation. Yet, the media and public attention quickly turned to another revelation, an extramarital affair between Levy and U.S. Representative Gary Condit. A Democrat representing California's 18th Congressional District at the time, Condit was a senior member of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. The affair became central to the national conversation surrounding her disappearance, overshadowing the ongoing criminal investigation. Despite not being named as a suspect by police, Condit faced intense scrutiny and pressure from the media and Levy's family, who believed he was withholding information. His public denial of any involvement initially fueled speculation, but he was eventually cleared of any connection to her murder. The affair, however, left a lasting impact on his political career, contributing to his loss in the 2002 election. In 2015, Ingmar Guandique was granted a new trial after his initial conviction for murdering Chandra Levy in 2010. However, prosecutors ultimately decided not to proceed with the case against Guandique in July 2016 and instead sought his deportation. He was deported back to his native El Salvador on May 5, 2017, leaving Levy's murder officially unsolved. Despite years of investigation and a conviction that was later overturned, justice remains elusive for Chandra Levy and her family. The case continues to draw attention, highlighting the complexities and uncertainties that still surround her disappearance and death. Nearly 2 decades after Chandra Levy's disappearance, a sense of closure remained elusive for her family and friends. Levy's parents and friends held numerous vigils and press conferences, desperately clinging to hope as they appealed to the public for information that could lead them to answers. It was during this time that Levy's aunt revealed a crucial detail. Chandra had confided in her about an affair she was having with a married U.S. representative. This revelation further complicated an already tangled case and cast a shadow over the halls of power in Washington, D.C. The discovery in Rock Creek Park brought closure to some, but left many questions unanswered. Who had taken her life? The search for justice remained ongoing as investigators worked to uncover the truth behind her death. In 2008, investigative reports by the Washington Post reignited interest in the case of Chandra Levy. These reports prompted the Metropolitan Police Department to revisit their investigation and focus on Ingmar Guandique. A warrant was obtained on March 3, 2009, for his arrest in connection with Levy's murder. At the time, Guandique had already been convicted of assaulting 2 other women in Rock Creek Park around the same period as Levy's disappearance. He was still incarcerated when the warrant was issued. This shift in focus marked a pivotal moment in the case, redirecting attention from political speculation to the possibility that Guandique could be connected to Levy's murder. The investigation continued to explore his potential involvement, though questions about his role remained unresolved. The decision not to prosecute Guandique after granting him a new trial underscored the complexities and uncertainties inherent in this case. It highlighted the enduring impact of Levy's disappearance and death on her family and the broader community, leaving them without closure and with unanswered questions about who was responsible for her death nearly 2 decades later. The Metropolitan Police Department had been informed that Ingmar Guandique, already arrested for attacking women in Rock Creek Park, had confessed to attacking Levy, but they dismissed this information. This fact, combined with the department's failure to follow its own search parameters in Rock Creek Park, ultimately led to Levy's remains decomposing for a year before being discovered. The case continues to be a source of fascination and debate, reminding us that even in the face of extensive investigation and legal proceedings, some truths may forever remain elusive. In a surprising turn of events, on July 28, 2016, prosecutors decided against pursuing further charges against Ingmar Guandique in the Chandra Levy case. Instead, they sought his deportation. This decision left many unanswered questions about Levy's murder, as the case remained unsolved despite Guandique's initial conviction and subsequent dismissal of charges. The circumstances surrounding this change in legal strategy were never fully explained, adding another layer of complexity to an already convoluted case. The lack of a definitive conclusion continues to haunt those who knew and loved Chandra Levy, leaving them without closure and fueling speculation about what truly transpired nearly 2 decades ago. The conviction of Ingmar Guandique in November 2010 marked a significant moment for prosecutors and the Levy family. However, this victory was short-lived. In June 2015, legal challenges led to Guandique being granted a new trial. The nature of these challenges wasn't specified publicly, but they raised questions about the strength of the evidence against him and cast doubt on the earlier conviction. The case had already been deeply impacted by the media's focus on Gary Condit's affair with Chandra Levy, which overshadowed other investigative efforts for years. By 2015, the legal landscape shifted once more, highlighting the complexities and uncertainties that continued to surround the murder of Chandra Ann Levy. Nearly 2 decades after Chandra Levy's disappearance and death in Washington, D.C., her case remains unsolved. In 2016, prosecutors made the decision not to pursue charges against Ingmar Guandique, who had previously been convicted of her murder. Instead, they sought his deportation. This decision came after a new trial was granted to Guandique in 2015 due to concerns about the original proceedings. Guandique maintained his innocence throughout. In March 2017, he lost his bid to remain in the United States and was deported back to his native El Salvador on May 5th of that year. While Guandique's conviction was overturned, the questions surrounding Levy's death persist. Her family continues to seek justice for their daughter, whose disappearance captivated the nation nearly 2 decades ago. The case serves as a haunting reminder of the complexities and enduring mysteries that can arise in criminal investigations. More than 2 decades after Chandra Levy vanished from Washington, D.C., her murder remains officially unsolved. Ingmar Guandique was convicted in 2010, but later granted a new trial and eventually deported to El Salvador in 2017. Prosecutors dropped the charges against him, leaving no definitive resolution for the case. Chandra's family continues to seek answers, while her story remains one of the most enduring mysteries in American true crime. Her skeletal remains were found in Rock Creek Park in May 2002, confirming her death, but not her killer. The case exposed the intersection of personal relationships and political pressure, with Gary Condit's affair with Levy drawing intense media attention for years. Despite legal proceedings and investigations, the truth behind her murder has never been fully uncovered. Despite Ingmar Guandique's conviction for Levy's murder in 2010, this conviction was ultimately dismissed in 2016, and he was deported to El Salvador. This left the question of who specifically killed Chandra Levy unanswered. The identity of her murderer remains a mystery that continues to haunt investigators and her family alike. Nearly 2 decades after her disappearance, no definitive resolution has been reached. Her skeletal remains were found in Rock Creek Park in May 2002, but the person who took her life was never identified. Gary Condit, the U.S. representative with whom Levy had an extramarital affair, was cleared of any involvement. The case generated immense media attention for several years, fueled by speculation about Condit's potential role and the unusual circumstances surrounding Levy's disappearance. If you want to see how this case was solved, subscribe for the next investigation.